Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review. This time all Batmans from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. They are all screen-used Batman, so they've all had movies, including Adam West. He did have a movie one time. It was one time. It was very good. It was very funny. But Adam West is probably an emotional favorite of mine because it was my first exposure to it on television. I didn't know it was a comedy. I thought, this is amazing. And then when I got old enough, I said, Bad Alphabet Soup Container? How would you know to pack that ahead of time? So I get now that it's that it's funny, and it is funny. But that is Adam West Batman, and I got Michael Keaton Batman single packed. I can't remember what the circumstance was, but this was rare. Of course, Michael Keaton Batman came with the Batmobile, which was an Amazon exclusive, because this is the '89 version, not the version from The Flash, which was more readily available. You could get that, but the Amazon one sold out a couple times, and I finally managed to grab it one of the times it was in stock. This one I can't remember. It feels like an EQL purchase to me, but I'm not absolutely sure what happened there. But it was rare. This one was rare too. I had to keep searching Amazon until it popped up and was available. But this was the way that it was supposed to be packaged. But the only way to get it was to get it with a bunch of figures I didn't want, and I didn't want to do that, so I didn't do that. Neener. So those are Michael Keaton and Adam West Batmans. And then there's the Platinum Batman. This one, the Christian Bale Batman, was from the Hong Kong skydive from The Dark Knight. And originally it came with no cape, and I think the mask was off. But this one, of course, is just the one that I wanted from that series. This one kind of first appeared with that 7-pack of figures. And it also came with, I think, the tumbler. I think McFarlane put out a tumbler. The Platinum one is just a single-packed version of the correct Batman from The Dark Knight, which is amazing. It's a great it's a great movie. It's a great figure. And then last but not least is the Robert Pattinson Batman from the latest iteration. Of course, he was readily available, very, very available. There's no, there might be an alternate version. I can't remember. I don't think there's an alternate version of this figure, but he's perfect as is. It was a really good movie. I understand people were like, oh my God, it was over, and then it wasn't over, and then there was a whole other section, but I enjoyed that. So I liked that first one. I'm glad that they're coming out with a second one. And this is the latest iteration, but of course all four of them have the fact that they've been on a silver screen in common. Of course, probably my favorite, non-emotional, is probably Michael Keaton. I think by the time Adam West had left, that we hadn't had a Batman in a long time, and I was in high school, and comics weren't necessarily cool, and everybody wanted to see Batman, even people who were not, into comics and things. So it was sort of kind of a uniting thing back then. But probably the best version was that Nolan trilogy. That Nolan trilogy is just perfect. Just an amazing trilogy. Just amazing beginning, amazing ending. If you understand sort of the message of the first one is that anyone can be Batman, then by the end of the movie, when I don't know, should I spoil it? When that guy is in the cave and you realize he's passed on the mantle and that guy's Robin, well, he's not going to be Robin, he's going to be Batman if there are any more movies, but it really sort of emphasizes the point that Batman is just a symbol, and it's just used that way throughout. So it's really cool, the message of that. And the new Batman, we have yet to see sort of how that builds, but I'm hoping that builds a little bit at a time and goes really far, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of that cast back together again. But these figures look amazing in the packages, and I know I'm breaking some of your hearts when I say let's open them, but But we got to take them out. That's what we do here. We got to take them out. So we're going to take them out and see what we think of them in person. Okay, now that they're out of the package, let's take a closer look at all of our Batmen. First, the Adam West version was the only one that didn't come with a card. And technically it did have a card. It was a redemption card for a cowl, sort of a life-size one-to-one cowl. And I looked at the sweepstakes information. It said that it cut off in February of this year, and I'm opening this in August. So I missed that deadline by 6 months. So I didn't bother with it. I tossed it. But the other three did come with cards. This was the Michael Keaton Batman card. It is a picture, I think, of the action figure and not of the actor himself. So I don't know if it was a kind of a rights issue, or I'm never sure about things like the figure rights or anything like that. Actually, none of these are real photos. They're all pictures of the action figure. That's the Robert Pattinson one. It's a fantastic photo. It's dynamic. It looks like it could be painted or it could be artwork. It might not be an action figure itself. And in fact, as soon as I say that, I think maybe it's an action figure. I'm pretty sure it's an action figure. I'm gonna just say it's an action figure. If you guys are like, no, it's not, then you can. This one's artwork. The back of the package, it was obvious this was a painting of some kind, but this is the Christian Bale Batman from The Dark Knight, and I'm super glad I didn't get like an image of him from the Hong Kong dive where he's got like no mask and he's got no cape and things. I'm happy that this is the classic Batman, because the Christian Bale Batman we only were getting with the tumbler and that 7-pack, which I didn't get because I think by that time I had the Robert Pattinson one, and I think one or two others. So I thought, I'm not going to get a 7-pack. I'm just going to wait for them to individually release. And that has become sort of a pain. And it's become a pain point with sort of McFarlane Toys in general, right? It's just hard to get stuff. So for the Robert Pattinson Batman, he comes with this little device I'll go over later. The Hong Kong Escape Batman didn't come with any gadgets or anything, but he has a wired cape and he has a flight stand, which is very cool. For Batman, he comes with the device he's holding, the Batarang he's holding, but he came with a number of hands that, as far as I can tell, don't do anything but sort of recreate the Bat Watusi. You remember the Bat Watusi? He's like, that was such a bad Watusi noise. He's got this, which is probably some kind of device holder, and this one is a point, but it's such a crooked pointer. It's like he's kind of pointing, but his finger is extra flexible for some reason, and maybe it's broken. I don't know. It's weird, but he comes with a lot of extra hands. So you could do the Bat Watusi, you could do just about anything. The Michael Keaton Batman came with so many things. In addition to the device he's holding, which I think is the remote for the Batmobile, and he's got the Bat grappling gun. He's got some trigger hands. He's got kind of a flat hand. He's got 2 fists for punching out bad guys. And he's got another trigger hand. So 5 extra hands for Batman. He's got that Batarang that never looked great on screen. Never looked very, very real. He's got throwing stars for some reason. I don't know if he used these in the movie. I have no idea. And then the most confusing accessory of all was these 2 sort of billy clubs. I don't know if you wield them and you have them run down the back of your arm so you can block knives and things, or what these are for, but I don't remember him using this on anybody, or I don't remember this at all. I don't remember this at all. So I don't remember. But it's a good accessory, because it could be that one day I'm watching the movie and then I go, oh yeah, that's why he came with that stuff. So let's dig into the figures individually. Let's start with the Adam West Batman, because he's most colorful. He's very cool. And of course, it comes with the articulation you'd expect from McFarlane. Lots of, butterfly joints, the legs that are kind of a little bit tough to maneuver with. I don't think his arms rotate at the top of the gloves. No, they don't. Am I right? Is that a? Yeah, no. The arms don't rotate at the glove, but they do rotate at the bicep. So you've got that going on. Let me get rid of the battering before it just falls off. Of course, now the battering is stubbornly staying in. Of course, he's got this little bat device. From the front, it looks, or the business end looks like that. It's very cool, very throwback. He's got the wired cape, which is really nice. I know I'm cutting his head off, but I'm trying to show you more of the body. But let me show you the head, I guess. Okay, that's a better view. I also like that the belt is yellow, but the buckle is gold. The logo on the chest is bright yellow. He's got the action figure stand, of course. The cape is just really nice. I'm really loving that McFarlane is wiring some of his capes. I don't know if the cape will, just snap in half over the long haul or not. 20 years from now, these capes could be worthless and you're trying to sell them off on eBay as slightly used. But that is the Adam West Batman. Looks very cool. My hope is that there would be more 1966 6-inch Batman figures coming, but I haven't heard anything. I know we're getting a full wave of Batman Returns figures. Each and every one of them is amazing, and I will be getting each and every one of them. They're completely phenomenal. Just great addition to the collection, and it's a lot of the time. I'm talking about the Batman Returns movie, not necessarily the Adam West one, but it's a really, I'm digging McFarlane turning these actors into real figures, and there's a lot we haven't gotten. So I'm happy that for any character he does that hasn't already been done. It's really cool. Robert Pattinson has this sort of device, and I don't know what this device is or what it does. I don't remember, but I'm also baffled by the if you can see it. There's a post here that suggests it plugs in somewhere, but the only thing on Batman that has holes are sort of the loops in his belt, and I tried to put that through the loops, but it wouldn't really stay, which makes sense because it's flush with things and it doesn't really go into anywhere. So I checked sort of the back of his gloves. I checked around his belt. I checked around the back. I checked the legs to see if there were any holes in the legs, anywhere I could put this where it would look kind of normal, and there wasn't. I'm not even sure which end is the business end. I put this in his hand, but for all I know, whatever it does, that's the end that it does it. So I'm not sure what that is or what it does, but it's an accessory, so it has to do something, and it's probably movie accurate, absolutely, but I just don't know what it does. I'm not sure what it's supposed to do. But for the figure itself, I like the combination of the flat blacks and the shiny blacks. The flat black is more of a super dark gray, almost black, and then there's the black belt is sort of shiny but not real shiny. The bat symbol is the shiniest. So there's a couple different levels. The spikes on the back are silver. The cape hangs off really nice. It's really it's a really good likeness. It feels like sort of a year one Batman with all of the sort of the different utility things, and he hasn't made the belt uniform or anything. It's about as utilitarian as you can get that. It's just a really cool figure for a great movie, and that is the Robert Pattinson version of Batman. For Christian Bale's Batman, I posed him with the flight stand because I thought that would look good, and we don't get a flight stand all the time, so it was really cool, and especially with something called the Hong Kong dive. It was meant to be sort of high up on a skyscraper, and he dives down, so having him sort of mid-flight makes a lot of sense. I don't know if the regular figure came that way, and then they were like, well, let's do it with the platinum too. Let's have it there, but with the platinum, we'll throw the head with the cowl, and we'll throw a cape on him, and then we'll wire that cape up. And it's a really good decision. The uniform looks fantastic. Looks like it did in the movie, where it's just one color. You can barely see sort of the bat etched onto his chest, and that's really cool because the whole point of that movie was this was kind of military hardware, and nobody was really seeing stuff. I don't know why the belt would be gold in those movies. It seems like an odd choice. If everything else is going to be flat black, maybe make that just a real pale yellow or something, maybe so he can see kind of what he's doing in a dark place or something. I get that, but it's cool. He's got the wired cape, which, you know, hard approve. The wired cape is awesome and adds to the posability. It's a great figure. It was a good movie, and I dig it. Also, on the flight stand, he has a foot peg, so you can put that foot peg right on him, and boom, he's upright, and he's good. Oh, the flight stand has to click in. I haven't clicked it all the way in because I like to store it for a little bit. But if that slides all the way in and then you can click it, it doesn't fall off. It's very resilient. But of course, with Batman, I'll rotate him in so that both feet are on the platform, and now, boom, he's on the platform. For Michael Keaton Batman, I put the Batmobile remote right in his hand, and it looks like this close up. It's very, very simple. Just a really simple device. And of course, in the hand is the grappling hook he always has. Every action figure iteration of Batman has the grappling gun. I think that's one of those exciting things in the movie that people attach to. And I think it was part of the trailer, if I'm not mistaken. But I love the bright yellow of the oval. Harkens back to the Adam West version. The bats are very similar on the Adam West version and the Michael Keaton version. He's not maybe as angular and sort of narrow, and it exaggerates some of the features, but it's essentially the same bat logo. A bright yellow with a bat silhouette in it. The difference, of course, is that there's a little more texture for him. It's sort of a raised logo. It's not flat on the uniform. It's raised. He's got the gold belt, which of course has the grappling hook and everything. It's too bad they don't have sort of a post on the side hip where you could just plug the grappling hook in. The cape isn't wired on this. It hangs loose, but it's really cool. I dig the whoosh, whoosh. That doesn't translate well on camera, but did you guys get my whoosh? I'm like a superhero when it comes to automatopoeia. There. I used a big word. And so, that is the Michael Keaton Batman. He looks amazing. So, McFarlane Toys is not going to have the license starting next year. It's going to be Mattel. But I would argue that Mattel did anything that was current. They did, some Suicide Squad. They did... I think they did Batman, but I don't know if they had if it was DC Multiverse back then, or I can't remember. But anything that was current, they did Shazam. Anything that was current, they were doing, but they didn't dip back into the past. And I think that's been one of McFarlane's strengths, is that he's dipped back to the past and went, you know what? I want to make figures from all of these other things also. And McFarlane was kind of first to market with a lot of the figures that we did get. Figures that were sort of brand new on the shelf. Not on the shelf, but in the comic book, McFarlane went, I'm going to make a figure of that, and just came out with it. I think, things like Ghost, might not have made a very big impact, but he was a newer character from Batman. And, a year or two after he was introduced in comic book, he had an action figure. And I think that some people take for granted how incredible that turnaround has been for some things. Hasbro's done it too with Marvel Legends. You know, you introduce a character and a year later, you know, there's a Marvel Legends figure. And sometimes it's just easy. It's a repaint. It's whatever. But it's the fact that they did it at all. They were like, this character doesn't have any proven track record. Let's put out a figure of it. And that's been awesome. So, revisiting Michael Keaton Batman and Christian Bale Batman and Adam West Batman has been amazing. Of course, McFarlane was eventually going to get to Robert Pattinson's Batman because he has another movie coming out. And that would have been incredible. But he can only do sort of what he has the license for. He can only do so much. But I feel like he's just given us everything as far as, you know, everything he could do. So we got a Batman and Robin wave with Poison Ivy, with a Build-A-Figure Mr. Freeze. We're getting a wave with Catwoman and Max Schreck and the Penguin. And I'm excited about that. There isn't anything... Oh, there was the one with Two-Face and Riddler. And I can't remember which movie that was. It was the one that I liked the least. But it was, you know, those figures are amazing. And then they were like, hey, would you like another version of Riddler from the end where he's all like crystals and stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I would. Please give me that version. So McFarlane's done a great job of getting these movie and TV figures into our hands. And hopefully, you know, he's not going to stop until the very end. But hopefully Mattel will also take some notes and realize that on the aftermarket, some of these are really expensive because there's still such a demand for these characters in these styles that Mattel will go, all right, well, we'll keep giving people kind of what they want, and we'll take some chances, you know, in the future. But that is my rant. So until next time, enjoy your toys.